How's it going, everybody? I'm Geoff Grammer with the Albuquerque Journal, and as we are filming this tonight, it is the eve of the NCAA Tournament. We are at the pit right now, and the NIT starts for the Lobos. But before that game started, I wanted to invite a special guest to fill out the bracket like everybody across the country is doing. And the Albuquerque Journal had one reporter a long time ago kind of get famous in recent years for having a special guest fill out the bracket. That's Andy Katz, a former Journal reporter. He had Barack Obama fill out a bracket, and he does it every year now. Well, Andy Katz and Barack Obama have nothing on my guest, and that's Jack Pitino, the all-star ball boy for the Lobos, the son of UNM Lobo coach Richard Pitino. Jack, thank you for being on our show. We're going to give this a try. Thanks for coming on.
Okay.
You excited about this?
Yes.
College basketball, you know a little something about it, don't you?
Yeah.
If you're a Pitino and you don't know basketball, like, there's something wrong, right? You know it from, as long as you can remember, I imagine you've been a basketball fan. So we're going to start filling out the bracket. We've already done some of them right here on this bracket. This is the Jack bracket, or the jacket, if you will. And you can follow along on all of Jack's picks once we fill this out on abqjournal.com/sports if you want to get there a little quicker. And we're going to have his bracket up. We're going to have my bracket up. Any of you that follow me throughout the basketball season know my picks are horrible. Jack will easily beat me, I promise you that. And so let's go. Let's get to it. Like I said, we filled a few out, but I'm going to ask him about a couple games specifically. Jack, right here in the first round in this first regional up here, we got Alabama and Maryland winning the first round games, and you have Alabama going all the way to the Sweet 16. Easy pick because they're the #1 team. What I'm going to ask you about before we get to Alabama is this pick right here. Number 5, San Diego State, and number 12, College of Charleston. Who are you going to pick in that game? And then let me ask you why.
San Diego State.
You're going to San Diego State? So let me write that in here. Let me switch spots with you. I picked the wrong side here. So I'm going to write in San Diego State, SDSU. You've seen San Diego State play twice this year. Were you at the game in San Diego? Probably not at that game, right? But you were at the game here in the pit. Horrible loss for the Lobos. What do you remember about San Diego State, and what makes you think that they can beat Charleston?
That they have good shooting.
Yeah, they had one really good shot at the end, right? A painful shot for all of us to watch that we're watching that game here in the pit that night, right?
Yeah.
So San Diego State, you have beating Virginia, obviously a really good team out of the ACC. You have Creighton, Baylor winning their first round games, Baylor advancing. And then down here, I'm going to go, well, first of all, you have Arizona, school close to us, obviously, next door to New Mexico. But another Mountain West school, Utah State. They got the Lobos twice this year. Are you going with Utah State, or are you going to go with Missouri?
Utah State.
Why?
Because they have a really good player that can shoot lots of threes, and
Taylor Funk.
Yeah, and really good offense.
Did you watch that game? Were you at the tournament last week in Las
Yes.
Vegas? That must have, I'm glad you're still picking them and you don't hate them for what they did, but that guy couldn't miss a shot. He scored their first 16 points. So, Utah State, you have winning this first game.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and stay with this region now. We'll go through the Sweet 16, then we'll go down to this next region, okay? So, in the San Diego State game in the second round and Virginia, who do you have winning that second round game? Virginia or San Diego State? Here you have San Diego State. Which one do you want?
San Diego State.
Let's go San Diego State. So, just so people that may not have paid attention very closely this year to the Lobos split with them. They beat them in San Diego, and then here they lost in Pitt. That's 1-1, and that's the Mountain West champion. So, first place team in this league, the Lobos went 1-1 against them, and the loss was just that buzzer beater. Now, I know you're the ball boy. What was going through your mind in that last second when you're sitting under the basket and watching that shot go in?
Before I thought we were gonna win, but then I got mad when they made that shot.
You didn't shake the basket or something when you're sitting under there? You could have got the broom or something and hit it. So, all right, so let's finish out this region here, at least to the Sweet 16. Utah State, Arizona. Who's going to win that game?
Arizona.
You got Arizona winning that one? Do you know much about Arizona? I don't.
No, I just know they have pretty good team.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, Tommy Wood's their coach, and they play really good defense. And I guess actually from the South Regional, since we're this far along, I'm going to go region by region. We're going to finish this one out. Who do you have winning between Alabama and San Diego State?
Alabama.
So what do you know about Alabama? They're the #1 seed, obviously. I think they're the #1 team in the country for some of this year. Houston's also been #1. They're a really good team.
I know that they have a really good player.
They do, Brandon Miller, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you got out of Baylor and Arizona?
Arizona.
Arizona. So Alabama and Arizona, you got going right here in the Elite Eight. Who do you have winning between Alabama and Arizona?
Alabama.
So you're going with Alabama all the way to the Final Four. I can't write. You write better than I do. All right, so that's the South region. You got Alabama coming out of the South region in the Final Four. Let's jump ahead to the East region now. You already got Purdue and Memphis winning their first round games. You got Purdue jumping all the way to the Sweet 16. Here we go, another game that the Lobos have played. We got number 5 Duke and number 12 Oral Roberts. Who do you have winning that game?
Duke.
You got Duke winning that game. Now, you are familiar with Oral Roberts, though. Do you remember watching that game here in the pit?
A little.
A little bit. They have one really good guard. His name is Max A. Smith. Can shoot really good. They also have the 7-foot guy that was shooting 3-pointers like crazy, too. But Duke's been playing really good, so I think that's a pretty good pick right there. Who do you got winning but the Duke and Louisiana game in the second round?
I get Duke.
You got Duke winning that one, too. Let's go ahead and jump ahead right now to Duke and Purdue in the Sweet 16. Who do you have winning that game?
Purdue.
Purdue. Now, do you remember Purdue from the Minnesota days when they were in the Big Ten? I just messed up there.
No.
All right, let's jump down here then. You got Kentucky, Kansas State winning their first round games. Michigan State, Marquette winning their first round games. Advancing to the Sweet 16, you got Kansas State and Marquette. And now the winner of that game moves on to the Elite Eight, and you have Marquette. So Marquette and Purdue are going to be in your Elite Eight. Who do you have coming out of the Elite Eight to the Final Four in this bracket?
Purdue.
I cannot spell. You have Purdue beating Marquette, going to the Final Four out of the East region. All right. You know, Purdue's got a pretty tall center, too. He's like 7'4".
Yep. Zach Edey.
Zach Edey, thank you. How'd you know that? You really do watch college basketball all the time, don't you?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to jump over here to the Midwest region. Houston, where the Final Four is this year. The national championship game is going to be played in Houston. And I know you don't know this because you're only 8 years old, but 40 years ago, in the pit, Houston and NC State played in the national championship game. So this game right here was actually played right here 40 years ago this year, 1983. So you got Houston and Auburn winning the first round, Houston advancing to the Sweet 16. You got Miami, Indiana, you know a little something about too. You got them advancing to the Sweet 16. Who do you have winning that Sweet 16 game between Houston and Indiana?
Houston.
Yep, you got Houston. Iowa State. Now tell me, do you remember who we were talking about beforehand? Who plays for Iowa State?
Gabe Kalsher.
How do you know him?
He played in Minnesota.
And you were there. Were you a ball boy in Minnesota too?
No.
You weren't a ball boy there. You graduated the ball boy status once you got to New Mexico, huh?
Yeah.
But you remember him. He was a nice guy? Pretty good player? All right, so are you picking Iowa State? All right, let's go with Iowa State here then. Iowa State. It's hard to write when you're right-handed going this way. Who do you got winning between Iowa State and Xavier?
Xavier.
All right, and then below that you have Texas A&M coming out of that first round game playing the Texas Longhorns. You got Texas A&M, Texas beating Texas A&M Aggies. So Texas Xavier, who you got going in the Sweet 16 on to the Elite Eight?
Texas?
Yep, you got Texas. And then we're going to have Texas and Houston. Who you got in that going on to the Final Four between Texas and Houston?
Houston.
So you got you got Houston going all the way to the Final Four in Houston. We're going to jump now down to the West region where you got Kansas already beating the first round opponent, Howard. You got Arkansas and Illinois in the second round. You got Arkansas winning that game. Eric Musselman, Lobo fans around UNM are going to remember him when he was here coaching Nevada. But you got Kansas beating them in the next round. Now, St. Mary's is a team you saw play this year. Or I don't know if you were there at the game, but you know the Lobos played them and beat them. You have them beating VCU. This is the game I think everybody wants to know about, though. We got UConn and Iona. Who are you picking to win this game?
Iona.
And why is that? Do you know anything about Iona?
Yes.
What do you know about Iona?
They're a really good pressing team.
Really good pressing team. What else?
They have decent shooting.
Good shooting.
They have some big guys and get in the paint.
They have any good coaching at all?
A little.
A little bit? Who's their coach? For people that don't know, go ahead and tell them who their coach is.
My grandpa?
It's your grandpa, Rick Pitino, obviously a pretty good coach. He was here, they played in the pit this year, and they had a good time. So obviously you're going to grandpa to win at least the first round game, totally understandable. This game here, Arizona and Nevada, is actually playing tonight as we film this, and they're going against TCU. You have a pick who's going to win that game?
Arizona State.
Arizona State winning this game, okay. And then moving on from that game, we're going to go ahead and jump right ahead to, you have UCLA and Northwestern winning their first round games with UCLA beating them. Gonzaga, Arizona State, who do you have winning that game?
Gonzaga.
All right, we're going to go on to Gonzaga, move them to the Sweet 16. And as you can tell, I still can't write with this angle. St. Mary's, Iona. St. Mary's versus Grandpa. Who's going to win that game? You have Iona going to the Sweet 16? All right, now when he sees that you picked this, he better get you a nice little gift or something. But now's where it really gets serious. Kansas versus Iona. Who goes on to the elite? You have Kansas beating Grandpa? I mean Iona, sorry. Hey, what's Grandpa going to say when he sees you pick Kansas over them?
I don't know. Probably, like, maybe he's right.
you might understand. All right, so we're going Kansas here to the Elite Eight. Who are they going to play, Gonzaga or UCLA?
UCLA.
All right, so Kansas and UCLA, two blue blood kind of programs. Long time, a lot of success. Who's going to win that and go on to the Final Four?
UCLA.
UCLA, what do you know about UCLA as I write this?
I know they're a good team.
Yeah, they're a good team. Their coach, Mick Cronin, I know has a lot of connections to the Pitino family too, from coaching with them a long time ago, probably before you were born. We're down to the Final Four. Let's wrap this up. The Jack Pitino bracket. You have Alabama versus Purdue. Who's going to the national championship game?
Alabama.
You got Alabama going here. You got Houston. You got UCLA. Who's going to the national championship game on this side?
UCLA.
All right. I'm going to give some a little bit of drama as I write these in here. You got to think about your national championship game. Alabama versus UCLA. Jack Pitino. Who is going to win this year's NCAA national championship?
Alabama.
Alabama for the national championship. There it is. There is Jack Pitino's bracket, the jacket. You can follow Jack's picks on abqjournal.com/sports. We're going to post it up there. You can follow my picks too. Won't be nearly as good as this. And Jack, I appreciate it. I know we got to go get some work done. You got some ball boy duties to get to. So let's get to it. Thank you so much, man.